Good morning, Taconic. Thank you for tuning into Taconic TV. We've got a great show lined up for you today. My name is Nolan Smith. Today is February 12th, and let's get right into the news. Today, you're going to expect to see the main news presented by Josh Meany and Sarah Hernandez with the news in Spanish. Today, we also have a student award segment, a sports segment, drawing segment, and a very special student wellness segment with Ian McGrath. But first, let's take it over to my kitchen where we'll do some cooking. Hello everyone, I'm Nolan Smith, and today I would like to introduce the first ever cooking segment on the show. I will be showcasing a recipe I made up during quarantine last year and have been making periodically from then. This is a salsa recipe, but more specifically a spicy mango salsa. As you can see, I have all of my fresh ingredients lined up, including 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, 1 onion, 3 tomatoes, but I only used 2, 1 mango, 2 habanero peppers, 1 jalapeno, and 1 serrano pepper. Now that we have all our green ingredients lined up, let's get to cooking. I normally start off by taking a relatively small pot and putting it on my stove, setting the stove to medium heat because the salsa needs to simmer on the stovetop. After that's out of the way, I can cut up any of the ingredients in any way I see fit. I normally cut up the green and red peppers first. Make sure to cut them in extremely fine cuts so that when you eat the salsa, there's not giant pieces that you eat. I wanted to make a larger amount of salsa this time, so I decided to cut up the entire green and red pepper. But if you always wanted to, you could cut up half of the pepper for a smaller size. When you cut up the pepper, make sure to try to get as many seeds out as you can, because you don't want that in your salsa. It's also easier to cut up the pepper if you cut it into strips and then line the strips up and cut the strips into smaller pieces. After that, you can just kind of chop away at the pieces like you see I'm doing here. Make sure none of the pepper flies up at you though, so do what I do and put my hand above it so nothing comes at you. Also, after you cut every ingredient, make sure to throw it into that pan that's on the stove so it starts to get hot. Next up is the onion. Now, as many of you know, onions have a layer of skin that you need to peel, otherwise you're going to have a pretty nasty taste in your salsa. I like to chop the onion in half first and then peel. This makes it easier to peel. You can probably tell anyone in culinary how to cut an onion, and they'd probably tell you that they know how to chop it better than I do. I just kind of chop it up until it's into little tiny pieces. Also, to make sure every once in a while to look on the stove at your pot to make sure nothing's burning. There's the onion all chopped up, and into the pan it goes. Next up we have the mango, which my sister Rachel will actually be cutting for me. Mangoes are extremely weird to cut and are quite similar to avocados in a way. You need to cut the mango in half from top to bottom, then scoop out all of the mango. From there you can cut it up and pop it in the pan. Just make sure to not add too much mango or it'll be a really sweet salsa. There's the mango done, and into the pan it goes. Now we're on to the tomatoes. As you can see, I have 3 tomatoes, but I'll only end up using 2. I got 3 because I wasn't sure what the ratio would be between tomatoes and the rest of the ingredients, but 2 seemed good for this batch at least. You could always experiment with more or less if you want. A helpful tip is also that you can cut everything, especially the tomatoes, on a paper plate. This makes it so there's way less to pick up at the end with the juices, and you can always bend the plate and throw everything right into the pot when you're done chopping. Once you have all the tomatoes cut, you can throw that right on in the pan and give it a good stir just to make sure everything's not burning and moving around. Now you would have finished salsa, but I'm not quite done yet. Now, along with the sweet mango, I also decided to throw in a couple spicy ingredients to give the salsa a bit of a kick. The first one up is a jalapeno pepper. The jalapeno measures at 2,500 to 8,000 on the Scoville scale. Basically, if you don't know what the Scoville scale is, it's a scale that people use to measure the hotness of peppers. Basically, to cut up the jalapeno, all you're going to want to do is just cut it up all the way down the pepper and then just cut all the little circles you have into tinier little pieces. Next up on our little tour of hot peppers is the serrano pepper, which has a ranking between 5,000 and 15,000 on the Scoville scale. This makes it 5 times hotter than the jalapeno pepper. Basically, to cut up the serrano pepper, you're going to do the exact same thing you did with the jalapeno pepper. Cut it all the way down into little circles and then cut the little circles into even tinier pieces. Now, if you just noticed, I took a bite of both the jalapeno and serrano pepper, which was a very poor idea because, as you'll see in a second, I grab a glass of milk and chug it because that's just how hot some of these peppers are. For our final ingredient, we're going to add 2 habanero peppers, which rate between 100,000 and 350,000 on the Scoville scale, meaning they're about 40 times hotter than the jalapeno pepper. Basically, to cut these guys up, you're just going to want to go crazy with your knife and get as tiny of cuts as possible, because if you have big cuts in your salsa, you're going to take a bite and it's going to burn your mouth. There's the habanero peppers, and with that, our chili is complete. Basically, now with all your ingredients in the pot, you're just going to let it simmer on the stovetop for a couple hours. Every 15 to 20 minutes, just go around and stir it a little bit, and then just take it off the stove and let it sit for a while, and then put it in a bowl. The final product came out extremely well. Although some of my knife cuts were a little bigger than I wanted to, they were still pretty good. It wasn't as spicy as I would wanted, but I have put ghost peppers in this before, which are a lot spicier than habanero, so I can't complain too bad. Once the salsa was all done cooking, I was able to take it out and fill up that entire mason jar plus a little extra. I hope you enjoyed this cooking show, and now I want to pass it over to Owen Bonnie, who has a very special student award segment.
Thank you, Nolan. What's going on, everyone? My name is Owen, and welcome to a brand new segment for Taconic TV, the Student Awards. Whether it's an awesome drawing, community service, or even just straight kindness, this show is here to promote students for their contributions to society with their awesomeness. And it's with great honor that I give the first ever student award to Taconic graduate Ethan Millett, as well as the many other students who have participated in Cleanup Crew 413. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Cleanup Crew, it is a group of students and graduates who spend their very own time cleaning up our very own town. The crew began their cleanups on September 19th of 2019 and have so far collected over 3.5 thousand gallons worth of garbage. The creator of the Cleanup Crew, Ethan Millett, has stated that he did not start this to gain recognition. He just wants to help out the environment. That is why we choose Ethan and his crewmates to get Taconic TV's first ever student award. If you want to learn more about the Cleanup Crew, you can check them out on Instagram at Cleanup Crew 413, as well as read the news article by the Berkshire Eagle. Both links will be available in the description below. That is all we have for today's Student Awards. If you have something that you think is eligible for the Student Awards, you can email me at 22obonnie@pittsfield.net and we'll be sure to check them out. Anyways, let's hand it over to Josh with the main news.
Thanks, Owen. And for the main school news, we'll start with the February PE All-Stars. We have Andrew DeFino, Karen Pino Saldana, and Belinda Bile. We would also like to point out one of Taconic's most inclusive clubs, the Gay Straight Alliance. Taconic's Gay Straight Alliance offers a safe place for LGBTQ plus students and their allies to be themselves, make friends, find support, and more. If you or anyone you know is interested in joining, contact Josie Rosales or Ms. Zucker. They have meetings every Wednesday at 2:30 on Zoom. Link Crew also wanted to recognize the honors and high honors students who've worked hard to achieve this accomplishment last quarter. We have the list of all the students to show you. And finally, we wanted to share some notable scholarships that every senior should be applying for. We have the Berkshire Community Selectman Scholarship, due March 2nd. We have the 2021 Gold Wings Foundation Scholarship, due March 29th. We have the Mark Davis Leadership Scholarship, due the April 6th. And finally, we have the Daniel Pearl Berkshire Scholarship, due April 23rd. That's it for the school news, and now we have Ian discussing sports. Ian?
Thank you, Josh. For a sports update, we are starting with America's favorite pastime, baseball. On the first of the month, Dustin Pedroia sadly announced his retirement from the MLB. He was a second baseman for the Red Sox, who unfortunately got a knee injury resulting in an early end to his career. Another big change to the MLB is that they will be changing the baseballs that they use after record home run rates in the past few years. These new balls will be a little lighter and a little less bouncy. In the NBA, Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors set a new franchise record with 54 points scored in a single game. Also, Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks and De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings were named NBA Players of the Week. In the NFL, the season finally ended on February 7th with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. Since Tom Brady joined the team this year, he brought the franchise its second win in history. This was Brady's 10th time going to the Super Bowl and his 7th win. After winning, Brady says we're coming back. Here's the clip.
And there's more to come, right, Tom? There's more to come as far as football.
Yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming
you
back.
Know that.
Coming back. Tom Brady's coming back.
Way to go.
Let's keep our eyes out and see if they can get back to the Super Bowl next year. Thanks for joining us. I'll bring it back to Josh in the studio.
Thanks, Ian. And to start off with current events news, Jeff Bezos is stepping down from his position as the CEO of Amazon. A week ago, he announced he would resign his position as the head of the company. In COVID news, Governor Baker released an update on COVID-19 precautions and procedures about a week ago. Governor Baker also promises 1 million vaccines a month by the springtime in Massachusetts. Speaking of vaccines, select CVS stores across Berkshire County will start offering COVID vaccines during this week, so make sure you get your vaccines to help fight the pandemic. That's it for the main news. Now we take it over to Sarah to give us the Spanish news.
Hola amigos y compañeros de Taconic, mi nombre es Sara Hernández, soy un estudiante de último año. Espero que todos se encuentren bien y saludables. Nuevamente, espero que todos estemos respetando el distanciamiento social y estemos haciendo el uso de mascarillas para evitar el contagio y la expresión del virus. Para las noticias principales de la escuela, comenzamos con las estrellas de educación física de febrero de este mes. Tenemos a Andrew Defino, Karen Pino Saldana y Belinda Bayo. Espero haber pronunciado los nombres correctamente. También nos gustaría señalar uno de los clubes más exclusivos de Taconic, la Alianza Gay Heterosexual. En Taconic ofrece un lugar seguro para los estudiantes de LGBT y sus aliados sean ellos mismos. Hagan amigos y encuentren apoyo y más. Si usted o alguien que conoce está interesado en unirse, comuníquese con Josie Rosales o con la señora Zucker. También reunimos todos los miércoles a las 2:30 p.m. en Zoom. El equipo de Link también quiso reconocer los honores y altos honores de los estudiantes que trabajaron duro para lograr este logro en el último trimestre. Tenemos una de la lista de todos los estudiantes para mostrarles y finalmente queríamos nombrar algunas de las becas notables que estos estudiantes de último año deberían solicitar. Tenemos la beca de Asociación de Selectores del Condado de Berkshire, que viene el 2 de marzo. La beca de la Fundación Goldwings 2021, que vence el 29 de marzo. La beca de la Fundación de Liderazgo Mark Davis vence el 6 de abril. Y finalmente la beca de Daniel Per Berkshire vence el 23 de abril. Eso es para las noticias de la escuela.
Hello everyone, I'm Owen Scatini and I'm back once again on the show to show you what I have done. Unlike last time, I thought I would take inspiration from one of the most artistic TV personalities, Bob Ross. So today I'm recreating his painting, Island in the Wilderness. Although I was not able to get the traditional supplies like paints and canvas, I was able to recreate an acrylic paint style using specific Photoshop brushes. I took his mentality of mistakes are just happy little accidents and went on my way to make my own rendition of this piece. This is unlike anything that I've ever tried doing and overall really enjoyed my time with it and highly recommend following along with him, even if you don't consider yourself an artist, because his voice and style allows you to be creative and overall it's really cathartic. Nearing the end of this piece, I think it all started to fall into place, and in the end I'm really happy with the results. That's all for my artistic part of today's show, and I'll see you all next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wojcik's Weather. Let's see. I know we're going into break in the long weekend and break next week for everyone. So let's jump right into it and see what we got. So looking at the national weather map, we had this front moving through Thursday and Friday. It's going to stay south of us. This big high pressure, remember high happy, is going to keep that front to the south of us. They are going to pick up quite a bit of snow down in Philly, Baltimore, get it dusting out in New York and even the Cape and stuff. That low is going to move out that way. Looking into the weekend a little bit, you got maybe Saturday night and Sunday as this low makes it across the country. Not real strong. Could be some light snow, maybe a snow shower or two, or dusting Saturday into Sunday, and going forward into next week. So if we look at the forecast, going to be cold though. Friday we're at 18 for a high, 3 for a low. Overnight into Saturday morning is going to be cold. Saturday will get up a little bit into the low 20s, partly sunny. That low may move through Saturday night, so Sunday morning it's showing some flurry activity. It won't be a really, really bad day, but you might just have some flurries. I don't see much in accumulation. It is an unsettled pattern as there are lows across the country. that we're going to have to be dealing with. So some of those into early next week, Monday and Tuesday, you could have, some different snow showers on day where Tuesday could have another possible accumulating storm. Wednesday looks to be a little bit sunny, and then the temperatures start moderating a little bit. Thursday with some snow showers, but 30s, and the trend after that, after we get through the middle of next week, it starts looking like temps might start rising for us a little bit. So we'll hope for that. Everybody have a great weekend and a great break. And thank you for being here on Wojcik's Weather.
To end the show, we have the quote of the day. With the new day comes new strengths and new thoughts. Also, Ian McGrath made an amazing segment about student wellness during online schooling. Unfortunately, it ran a little too long, so we couldn't put it in the show. But we are releasing it alongside the show, so if you want to go onto our YouTube channel and hit the link in the description below, you'll be able to find it there. Thank you to everyone who made this show possible, and if you want your news featured on the next episode, please email us at TaconicTV@pittsfield.net. Remember to take responsibility, have respect, and strive for excellence, even online. Let's make it a great day.
And about... Whew.